Welcome. I'm Barb Arland-Fye. Welcome to the Catholic Messenger Conversations. Today's guest is FatherJoseph Sia, Vocations Director for the Diocese of Davenport. Thank you for being here, Father.
Sure, it's good to be here. And actually, right off the bat, I want to say this is one of the things on my bucket list, to be interviewed in a professional sound studio. So I'm checking off an item on my bucket list.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So I wanted to ask you, it's Vocations Awareness Week, in November?
First week of November.
Okay, so I thought, what a great time to just ask you about vocations, but I wanted to start with your own vocation. And I wondered, first of all, what are some of your first memories of being Catholic?
So growing up, I grew up in the Philippines, so mostly Catholic country. And the two places where I experienced the faith was at home and in school. And in both places, I had good experiences. So like my family, we would pray together as a family, especially during special times like New Year's Eve. At the stroke of midnight, so we would jump and scream, but then after that we would settle down, and my grandmother would lead us in prayer. So just on Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory be.
Wow!
So a way to keep the faith, centered in our life. So that was a good memory. And then I went to a Catholic school, so good example of the priests and teachers over there. With my faith, I used to serve daily mass since second grade. And
wow! Did you have sisters too?
They were in the other school. No, it was an all-boys school.
Oh, okay.
And the girls were in the school right across. So the religious sisters were there. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you first thought about a vocation to the priesthood?
I would say around 16 or 17 years old. So I was in junior high school, moving on to senior high school. We had a retreat called Days with the Lord. So it's like a 3-day weekend retreat. And I was chosen to be rector for that retreat. And I felt, maybe they see something in me, to be a spiritual leader. So that's where the idea started.
Did you feel a sense of God with you? I mean, it's kind of a calling like, oh, Joseph, you need to consider the priesthood or
what? Yes. Yep, there was that sense. It invoked many kinds of emotions and thoughts. But I think that's...
Was there anyone in particular who inspired you?
In school, I had the good example of the priest there. So I went to a Jesuit school, so we had Jesuit missionaries there. And they gave me I was inspired by them. So they were actually originally missionaries to China. And then they were expelled from China during the Cultural Revolution in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. So they came to the Philippines to minister to the Filipino Chinese. And because my dad's Chinese. So that's why I went to that school, and they were there ministering. And I was inspired by them, because they learned to speak our language, the Filipino language, and also Chinese.
Wow.
These Spaniard priests. So that was an inspiration for me.
Wow.
And then when I was in high school, I had the great privilege to have a spiritual director, a priest, which is very rare.
I didn't know high schools have spiritual directors.
He was like a guidance counselor, but also because I was part of a club called the Christian Life Community.
Oh, okay.
So I was already active. In religious activities even back then. So we were assigned a spiritual director.
How often did you get together with your spiritual director?
Around once a month or so. Mm-hmm.
And you always talked about spiritual things,
all kinds of things. Good things going on in school, at home. So he was a good example to me.
What were your favorite subjects in school?
I liked science, actually, and I think that's why that influenced my first career choice. I liked science, geography. That was fun.
Well, that's great. How did your family respond to your desire to explore a vocation to the priesthood?
So when I told them, I was already here in Iowa, so I already finished college. So I never told them about that since when I was in high school.
Okay. How come you didn't tell them about that?
Because I think myself, I was not convinced.
Okay.
Or I didn't want to explore it then. So I never told anybody. But interestingly, because I went to medical school, so even then, I would go to the chapel every day, and then my classmates would tease me, "Hey, father." So it was there, but I just never answered or had the courage to look further into it. It was only when I got here, after I was already practicing, I was working already as a doctor, and then I was sent here to do graduate studies at the University of Iowa. Again, through prayer, is when I discerned that, yes, I should look into this.
So where were you at? Did you go to like St. Mary's in Iowa City, or where did you go to?
Mostly the Newman Center.
Oh, Newman Center, okay.
Because I was living in Coralville, and I didn't have my own car.
Okay.
So I couldn't go, because there was no bus service on Sundays. Only till Saturday. So I would take the bus on Saturday to go to the Saturday evening, the Vigil Mass in the Newman Center, and take the bus back. So it was mostly to the Newman Center. Sometimes, if somebody could bring me, I would go to the St. Mary in downtown Iowa City.
So were you involved while you're doing your research and doing your medical work? Were you also doing spiritual things? Were you involved in faith-related activities?
Just mostly going to Mass.
Okay.
I did volunteer work. There was a free clinic in Iowa City, free medical clinic. So that was my service. Yeah.
Wow. I'm wondering, what changes did you have to make in your life to begin your discernment process?
I think it's more of what happened around me. So not so much me, you know, because so it was when I got to Iowa, and I was living alone, like for the first time in my life, and I really had the time and opportunity to think and pray about what God wanted for me. And it was that time that I was already, a doctor, now in grad school, but there was still a sense that something was missing. So that pushed me to really think and pray about what God wanted for me.
Wow. And did you pray more like conversationally with God, or was it more specific prayers, or?
Yeah, more conversational, asking God, what do you want from me? Why am I feeling this? And of course, that sense of the priesthood came back since that high school experience. And I felt a stronger call to consider that.
And you chose the Diocese of Davenport to discern your vocation. Was that because, Iowa City's in the diocese? Was that the reason, or?
Yes, and also because, part of the discernment of a calling is to where you are being called to. And again, in God's great plan. So yes, He planted that seed earlier on when I was in high school. But yeah, there was that resistance on my part. So I think that meant to say I was not called there, at the time.
Right.
It was only later on, when I was already in Iowa City, when I was able to open myself to God and the Holy Spirit, to discern a vocation to the priesthood.
And so what seminary did you attend?
I went to Mundelein Seminary.
Okay. And how would you describe life in the seminary?
For me, it was a good experience. I met a lot of other guys, who were really into discerning the vocation, and there I appreciated more my faith and my calling, to be in that environment with other men discerning the priesthood. And one thing interesting was that we were from different age groups. In fact, some of my closest friends were the older guys. Like one of them was in his late 40s. He had been a chief of police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I met him. He was my classmate in seminary. And then another guy had been a travel agent for like 27 years. So those were the guys that I connected to. Yeah. Because probably myself, I've had the experience, in the working.
Yeah, because how old were you around that time when you were in seminary?
When I entered, I was 27.
Oh, okay. So not that much older.
Not that much older. But somehow I connected more to the older guys. Yeah.
Any doubts? What, if any, doubts did you have on your journey to the priesthood?
I think that being away from my family, being here in Iowa, that was one doubt that came to mind. And I talked about this with a friend of mine many years later. He told me, hey, remember what you said when you were ordained? I said, what? About my family. He said, you said that you trust that God will take care of them.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And God did take care of them.
Yeah, He's taking care of them.
That's great. At what moment did you know for certain that you were responding to God's call? Was there a moment where you go, yes, this is it?
I think when I was already in seminary, When I felt that sense of peace, I was comfortable in what I was doing. I think it was at that point. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And what do you remember most about your ordination of the priesthood? I remember I was there. I mean, I got to cover that.
Yes.
That was really cool.
It's interesting. A wise friend of mine told me at rehearsals, he said, yeah, go ahead, do your rehearsal well, because after tomorrow you will forget everything, because you will be so concerned about the ritual to make sure you don't make mistakes. And he's right. I remember some of my friends from college were there, my family. But, one thing that still sticks to my mind is during the sign of peace, where I exchanged peace with my classmate, Father High, who was ordained with me at the same time. So that one I remember.
That was really cool,
exchange of peace as priests. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Mm-hmm. And what about, were your both parents there? Were your
Just
mom and dad?
my mom was there.
Oh, okay.
My dad had to stay home to watch the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your mom must have been, she just...
was very happy, very pleased.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What other special people were present at your ordination mass, and what did that mean to you?
So the sister of Father High was there, and I still see her from time to time here now in the diocese. So that was a good connection, because Father High and I had become good friends. So I was happy to see her there also.
Oh, that's really cool. Because Father High was at Mundelein too, right?
Yes, we were classmates all throughout.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. What do you love most about being a priest?
Well, now that I have 11 years of experience, I think it's just being there during the very important moments of people's lives and how they would open themselves to me, make themselves vulnerable and trust in, what I say, my comments for them or suggestions. But for me, I know it's from God,
Wow,
but
cool.
Just to be with them during those special moments.
So what about the most challenging aspect? I know there's always lots of ups and downs in anyone's vocation, right? But what about for you as a priest?
I think especially as a diocesan priest, so part of our job is to be an administrator of a parish. And that's where, for me, some of the more challenging moments have come. And I've learned to be more prudent in terms of like decision making or what to say. Especially, because people can be sensitive. So I have to be aware of that.
So that comes with experience, right?
So yes.
God requires us to
to
learn from experience,
learn
right?
from our mistakes. Yes.
Have you made any interesting mistakes that you care to share?
Yeah. I guess, or I'd rather share the lesson that I learned, which is, to meet people where they're at. Sometimes we have certain expectations where we want them to be, which is great. But at the same time, we have to realize in our own humility as well that people are at different levels. And as a pastor, I'm called to be there with them and to walk with them.
And to not give them too much advice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How did you react to being chosen to serve as Vocations Director?
It was an honor. I was also very excited, realizing how important this job is. But I think more than that, an honor, to be chosen for that position.
Had you any idea that was coming?
No.
I mean, you were just minding your own business in Columbus Junction and West Liberty, right?
Liberty. I actually got into that groove. It was a difficult. Well, that was another challenge too. They were 25 miles apart. And after my mass in Columbus Junction on Sundays, I would literally have to run, to West Liberty to get there for the next mass. But I already got into that groove. I was bonding well with my parishioners in both parishes. I was happy. And
did you know? Was Spanish a language that you knew? Or was that something that? Did you grow up with Spanish, or how did you?
Yes. So on my mother's side, that's the Spanish side. My great-grandparents came from Spain to the Philippines, so I was exposed to that, but I wasn't fluent. Okay. And it was only in seminary when I was sent to Bolivia to formally study Spanish. Is when I learned, Spanish. But I've been celebrating Mass every Sunday in Spanish for the past 11 years.
Wow. And so, did you get really attached? I mean, was it hard to leave Columbus Junction, West Liberty? I know it was hard for your parishioners, wasn't it?
Yes, and same here. Yes, I didn't realize that because I grew up in a big city.
Yeah.
And having lived in Columbus Junction, I was there 5 years because I was 5 years in Muscatine before that.
That's right.
So I was in Columbus Junction. I actually learned to love a small town, and the simplicity of life in a small town. So that was one thing that surprised me. That I had a hard time leaving that. Yeah.
Do you still hear from those parishioners? I bet they still.
Oh yes, I'm still in touch with them. Some send me letters.
That's
some
great.
Call or text. So
How often do people, since you're the vocations director, do people often suggest names to you of men who they think might make a good priest?
Yes, I do. So what I counsel them is thank you, and I will keep that in mind, but at the same time, continue walking with them. Because, for example, if they're the youth minister or the DRE or the pastor, they would be the one who would be instrumental in having that relationship with this person.
Oh, that's good.
And then, when they're ready to take the next step, yes, they can come to me. I don't want to just go right away. Yeah, it might scare them. How
do you approach your relationship with seminarians or potential seminarians? Is there do you have to handle that with kid glove approach, or what do you do?
Just be careful because we have such a thing as the external forum and the internal forum. So I'm in the external forum where there are certain so in the external forum we make decisions as regards whether or not a man is to be ordained. So that's why it has to be handled well and with sensitivity, certain information. But basically my relationship with the seminarians, I see myself, and hopefully they see this too, is that I'm a spiritual father to them, guiding them on the way of their discernment, on my end, because most of their formation happens in the seminary with their own formators over there, and I go visit them. The bishop also comes just to check on them, see how they're doing, ask them if there's any major concerns that they have, and to provide them moral, spiritual support.
What's the best advice that you can give to a man about discerning a vocation in the priesthood?
It's the timeless answer is pray. Pray about it. Bring it to prayer. And prayer, not just talking to God, but spending time in silence to listen to God, to hear what God says.
Do you get a sense that more men are becoming interested in seminary and in pursuing a vocation in the priesthood, or not so much?
Not necessarily, but I think God still continues. I know God still calls men to the priesthood. So it's a matter of being able to hear that call.
How can we help men to hear that call?
By encouraging them to grow in their spiritual lives, spending time in prayer. Like for me, that's what I always ask when somebody comes to me who's a possible discerner for seminary. I try to find out more about their spiritual life. How are they praying, and what is God telling them in prayer? And also to be sensitive to what other people are telling them, how other people see them.
Right. And what about, I imagine on occasion someone who has entered or is concerning a vocation discerns out or is no longer seminarian. Is that, how do you deal with that? Or is that, is that a mutual agreement, or how does that work?
In my experience so far, yes, it's been a mutual agreement, and I continue to walk with them in the sense that I say, all right, I'll still be praying for you. And most of the time, those who do discern out, they had a good experience in seminary. So seminary itself helped them in their own faith life to grow stronger in their relationship with God, and to give them that courage and direction to continue into whatever vocation God is calling them.
How many seminarians do we have in the Diocese of Davenport right now?
Right now, there's 10 of them in our diocesan seminarians. Yep.
And are they a wide range of ages and interests, or?
Yes, so they come from different backgrounds. Some have worked before, some came right off high school. Age range, maybe, actually they're a bit younger, this group. Mid-30s would be the oldest in this group. Yep.
Okay. What do we need more? more priests or more Catholics?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, see, as vocation director, one of the things I realized is that all the vocations work together. When we have good marriages, good matrimonies, that will lead to kids who will consider, be open to the priesthood and will become good priests and religious brothers and sisters. In the same way, when we have good priests and nuns and monks, we will have good families and good marriages and good single people who are dedicated to God. So they all work together, is what I would say. Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, how do you replenish yourself as a priest?
Well, like physically, I do have a day off, and that's when I just rest. I like to bike, or walk, or run. Read a good book. So also spiritually, yes, I do need to recharge. I have some spiritual books that I read.
Well, can you give us examples? Maybe we can get an idea of what we need to be reading.
There's one right now that I'm reading, The Heart of the Redeemer. And I forget the author, unfortunately, but it's because I have this great interest and devotion to the Sacred Heart. Because I grew up, my home parish in the Philippines was the National Shrine of the Sacred Heart.
Oh, wow.
And this one talks about the heart of Jesus Christ. So for me, it's been a good read.
Oh, that's good. Do you ever read any novels or any just...
Yeah, not so much. I'm not so much into novels.
Or biographies or anything like that?
Sometimes. I read the one of, Archbishop Fulton Sheen. And that's been an inspiration.
Oh, that's great. What else am I missing? What else do you want to tell us about vocations to the priesthood or... religious life, and how come you didn't pursue becoming a Jesuit priest?
I did talk to the vocation director at the time, and one of the things that I realized, and again, this was part of discernment, because it's a very long process.
Yes.
For the Jesuit formation, and for me, because I already gone through 7 years of med school, I already practiced a couple of years of medicine, so for me, I didn't think that was my call to do that much more studies. And so that's why I didn't pursue. Yeah.
And you're looking back on it, being a diocesan priest, this is your calling.
It's been a good fit. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm grateful for you for taking time today to talk with us about vocations. And I'm just wondering, do you have any other thoughts or inspirations for us?
It's for me, we are, especially all the priests. So this is for the priest. We are all vocation directors in our own right. And to a certain extent, even lay people, in the sense of promoting all the vocations. And I think that's one thing we need to remember. Because sometimes when we talk about vocations, we're so focused on just the priesthood. So we miss the forest for the tree, so to speak. But like what I said, they all work together. So maybe that's something for us to keep in mind. All of us, in whatever vocation or line of work we're doing, we can make a difference by doing our best as, for example, a wife, a husband, a father. We all can contribute to promoting vocations, especially vocations to the priesthood.
I have a younger son, and he's single, and a friend of mine said, have you ever asked Patrick if he considered a vocation to the priesthood? And I said, I think I did when he was like 17, and he didn't think so.
Yeah.
But I asked him the other day, and he still doesn't think so. But it occurred to me that in my prayer, so I pray for him to be able to discern whatever vocation God is calling him to, and for God to help him with that. So that's what I'm trying to do anyway.
And that's a good prayer. Yep.
Okay, good. Well, thank you, Father Joseph.
Sure, welcome. It's great to be here. Like what I said, this is something off my bucket list, so I'm very happy to have done this.
I'm so glad. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye for now.